You have already taken the first step into your journey. Your journey which will never perish. Because right now, you're going to start it today. You're going to thank yourself in the future, in the long run. Your competition is going to be down here and you're going to be all the way up here. I'm going to be explaining what I would say to my younger self, or to all the young athletes, what they should do to up their game, up their level. Be better than the competition, and be better. And be who they really should be. Be better than the person they were yesterday, in the day that they're going to be today. And take it from me. Once you start this, it's hard to stop. You can't just stop everything you've built up. The determination and just the motivation is just too high. It's too big for you to just give up. Once you start, which could be today, hopefully not tomorrow, but it could also be tomorrow. What you start will never lose. You'll never lose this in your whole life because this stuff just stays with you. It stays in your head. It's going to stay with you throughout your whole life and whatever you might do in the future. I want to say, for my first message, is to not be afraid. Don't let your subconscious just take control because you're shy, fearful, and you just don't know what's going to happen. That's life. Life is full of new opportunities, and you just have to take that first step in. You have to dive into the water head first, because that's how you'll be most comfortable in that water. See, starting, it's not easy. It's not easy, honestly. But if you keep thinking like that, and you're just never gonna start, does that make sense? You have to start somehow, and you can't just let your subconscious just dictate and just force you, manipulate you to doing things that you don't want to do. Examples of this could be like going out for a run outside in the day because you know you missed it in the morning, and in the night you know you're going to be busy. Taking that first step and just not caring about what other people think, because in the daytime is when you're most obvious to other people. But if you keep thinking that way, you're just never going to go out for the whole day. So it's better you do something than doing nothing. And this could also be like going to the gym for the first time even though you have no clue how all the machines work. You don't know anything about everything, which is okay, because everyone has to start somewhere. No one just starts knowing everything, you know? No one starts like Einstein. And once you start now, you're going to be thanking yourself because you're just going to be so much ahead of your competition. The competition is just going to be all sitting there because they're going to be the ones who are fearful of just doing what they know they have to do. Because sometimes it's taking that first step that becomes the hardest thing to do. And just know, once you start taking that first step, everyone's going to start comparing themselves to you. They're going to start thinking, was I doing that? I don't think I was doing that. And then they're going to start to think of things to say to put you down. Never let someone put you down, and just don't let that become a fear. Always be brave, and just don't be weak. And this is the first time of becoming just better than the competition, knowing when they're comparing yourself, and they're just trying to put you down because they know that they aren't doing what you're doing, and they wish to be doing what you're doing. As well, this could just be like playing with like kids at a park who you know that they're not your same age or even your skill level, but still going out and playing with them, getting out of your comfort zone, because who knows, they probably have a couple of skills which you have never seen and some knowledge. So you gain knowledge and some skills and also some intelligence, and you just gain like people skills which you will use eventually in your life when you start to have a job. And for my second point, I want it to be about the act now. Because tomorrow is never determined, you know. You never know if tomorrow is going to be like some big rainstorm, but today it was like a little cold outside, so you decided not to go. And then you just have like a bunch of these like conflicting ideas and contradicting, so then you just don't go out at all. Which is really going to like put you back and set you behind the pack, and it's going to be harder for you to swim up with the big sharks and keep up with them. Which is why you have to act now. Because acting now, you thank yourself in the future. And once you start acting now, it becomes easier for you, and then you just start to see the results, you know. The results do show, I'd say, almost immediately once you just start acting now, and you just stop waiting for tomorrow for that picture perfect thing, which will hardly ever happen. Because those results, once they come, and you see them, and you will just be amazed by them and be wondering, is that really me? Which it is, because you put in that effort which other people are not willing to do. You acted now while other people would rather wait and sit all comfy in their beds waiting for nothing. And once you start to see those results, you would have said, oh, and I wish I would have started earlier, because then those results would have been greater than what they are today. And this just shows just how much just a little bit of effort can be put into something bigger, into the bigger picture. You know, and it's about acting like you're someone who's gonna get first place. What would someone in first place to do, you know? They would act now, and they would act tough, and they would just do everything they can because they know that they're the only one who's first place. Because first place is only one. You know, the hard work and the determination will eventually transition into getting that first place for something that's bigger than what it actually is. So act upon everything now and don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow is never promised. Time is off by 7 hours. 7 hours behind, so add 7. And for my third point, I want it to be about to have hard work and to not waste your time. Because sooner than later, your big event's gonna come up, and you don't want to be scrambling and be waiting, did I try hard enough? I don't know, did I prepare hard enough? Because those are just not the right thoughts to have, You want to make sure that you had hard work in your training, because that will give you the assurance and the confidence in your abilities, and in who you really are. If for example, some guy who started when he was 8 years old and he just started playing football now or soccer, but then the guy who started 2 years ago shows up on the same team and he's already arguably better than him, who's there to blame? It's only yourself, because you didn't put the hard work in that the guy 2 years ago decided to put in, which is what you just never want to have, because then you would be thinking, I wasted all this time for what? And you start wanting to point fingers at everyone, but then the only person to point fingers at is at yourself, because you didn't put in that hard work, you didn't go that extra mile, you didn't take that extra step, you didn't spend that extra 5 minutes reviewing or even reflecting. But the other guy, he put in all that work and it only took him 2 years' time. Imagine the other things you can do with only 2 years, or imagine the things you could have done when you started when you were 8, and just the bigger picture that could have transitioned into. For my fourth point, I want it to be about when you're in an uncomfortable situation, you become comfortable. The ability to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Now, what does this mean? This means being able to be okay with getting out of bed, even though the bed might be all warm and all cozy, and outside is all cold and stuff. It's as well the ability to get outside in the rain, even though it might be all cold and tomorrow could be sunshines and rainbows, but you just have all that discipline and that drive, and you don't care no matter what it is. It's the ability to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Now, what does this mean? This can translate into many different things, This is what gets you ahead of the competition, one step in front of the other person. It's this ability that separates you from everyone else. This is the ability of someone who gets first place and is always first in everything he does. This is the ability of someone who works hard. As well, this translates into greater things, much greater things. Because imagine just the things you can do if right now, getting up at 4 a.m. becomes easy to you. And I know that might be hard, but after you do it for so long, eventually it'll become secondhand nature and it'll become easy. But imagine the amount of things you can do with just that ability to be able to do what other people aren't able to do and what other people are scared of. Being able to get out of bed at 4 a.m. even though it's cold outside and it's warm inside, getting the work done while other people would rather sit at home and be all comfortable and normal like everyone else. Now, for my final point, I want to make it about discipline. Because discipline is what ties up this gift all together. It's that bow or even the cherry at the top of the cake of everything about my message. Discipline is the drive to everything. Discipline is what puts all the gears into action and what makes the car go forward and proceed. Discipline is the fundamental thing that drives all these points that I just mentioned, and which makes you different from everyone else, which makes you stand out in front of the scouts, or even in front of your school and in front of your parents. It's the thing that makes you different, because discipline is hard to acquire. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you acquire many different skills and tasks and just becomes second nature, and you just can't live without it, kinda. It's something like that that's in your heart or in your whole body, which just you can't give up. You can't give up, because that's how strong it is, and that's how much it's just embedded into yourself. And for my last point, and I just want to mention this one topic, that it's never too late to start. It's never, yes, you do get an advantage, let's say if you start at the age of 8 compared to someone who starts at the age of 15. But if you put in all the work when you're 15, the results will show. As I mentioned before, that will come. Whatever you're working for, your craft, it'll all come together, no matter how old you are. Most millionaires or even billionaires, they all achieve this by the age they're 40 or 50, and they just finished working at their job that they probably own for 20 years. Everything takes time, and it's always good to start ASAP. So never think it's too late, and don't let that demotivate you. That is the message I would give to all the young athletes and all the people upcoming who are just starting their athletic journey. And this is all the things that I would say to myself. So take it from me. I'm still growing up, and I'm thanking myself because of what I've done in the last 3 years and what I've built up. Stay hard, be hard. How hard? No.